Hey guys, Probo1701 here. We're going live today. What's up, TARDIS? What's up, Shamrock? It's good to see you both. I'm going to give everybody a second or two to kind of get joined in here. Real quick, I'm going to plug the new channel, the Geek Speak Euphoria channel. I've been doing a lot of stuff about collectibles on there lately, Ramen Toys, Super 7. So if y'all get into any of their properties they collect, I'm a huge Mask fan, the cartoon and toy line from the 80s. So I've done some videos talking about their Gold Wing and their second run of it, which I do have pre-ordered. So I wanted to go ahead and just plug the Geek Speak Euphoria channel real quick before we got started. And we're going to look at several different things today. I'm going to go ahead and put on the glasses before TARDIS gets on to me about them. First order of business is my sinuses. Yay. So we're going to talk about several of the recent announcements we've gotten lately. Things are finally starting to pick up steam for the 60th. You are young at heart, my friend. Yes, I'm only 42. I don't consider myself old yet. Middle-aged, comfortably middle-aged. What's up, Sutter? How you doing, buddy? Dylan, it's good to see you back. Everything getting announced, but the standard edition of season 17. Just get the limited edition. It's nice that we finally have stuff getting announced. I did a video back around the end of June talking about how lackluster the first 6 months of 2023 were announcement-wise. I mean, we basically got season 9. That was about it. I was highly disappointed with the first 6 months of the year. So it's nice to see things picking up, of course, with the announcement of season 20, with the Underwater Menace animation announcement, with the series 1 through 4. New upscaling being released. It's nice to see things picking up. Let's start with, but the limited edition only cost. Yeah, it probably is pricey. Is the limited edition of 17 sold out? It's a Tom season, probably so. The Underwater Menace, the animation, it's a mixed bag. My thoughts on it. I really think they only needed to animate the missing episodes. We're talking about a story that's half complete. So part of me was shocked they were doing the whole thing. Part of me wasn't really surprised at all, if that makes any sense whatsoever. We don't know who's giving the backing financially now. Like, I doubt it's BBC America. We know that obviously they have new backers to do the animations. We don't know who they are. But the fact they're animating the whole thing, do the guard mask make you think of Drax? Not really. No, not really. Thank you, backers. Thank you, backers. Very much indeed, to the people who are financing Underwater Menace, I certainly appreciate it, and a lot of us do. But it makes me wonder if they're animating all of it, if it's because we know the reason BBC America was animating everything was so they could broadcast it. So I wonder if it's someone who plans on broadcasting them and they want them in a consistent viewing medium to perhaps bring in, different viewers than those who would normally watch it. I firmly suspect that's one of the reasons they're animating the whole thing. They're doing it in color and black and white, is because they already know that the old school fans like us are going to buy it. They know. We are. I mean, some of us already own the DVD of it. I don't own the DVD of it, but some of us already own the DVD of it. We own it on like book form or audio. I mean, the BBC know us. We'll buy the same story 7 times. Let's just be honest. They got us. And so they already know that section of the fandom, the Classic Who section, the people who love Troughton, they're going to buy it regardless. They know that. They already know. We got them. We don't have to worry about them. Their focus is, let's see if we can bring in some of the other people. Let's get some of the like modern Who people, some of the people who might like a more consistent viewing experience that have more trouble with old black and white Who, or people who might struggle with, watching a story that jumps from animation to live action back to animation. So I think they're focused on bringing in a new crowd to get it as well. Sutter Kane says, have you seen the Babylon 5 The Road Home yet? I have not, actually. I believe it just became available to purchase. I need to actually go to the store and get it. I haven't gotten it yet. I will probably try to do that soon. And when I do watch it, there will definitely be a video for it. Babylon 5 is my favorite sci-fi series. I honestly just forgot it was out. I knew it was coming out this month. I just couldn't remember which day. So I will be getting Babylon 5: The Road Home and doing a review of it. So I think that, again, the tricky thing for Underwater Menace is how will I be watching it? I'll probably watch it all three ways. I'll probably watch it first in black and white with the animations and the surviving episode. And then I'll watch it with the surviving episodes and the recons. And then I will probably watch the all color one with all animations. Normally, at first I wasn't going to do that, but for the purposes of the channel, I feel obligated to do that because it might actually be a completely different viewing experience watching all of Underwater Menace in color, in animation. And I'm curious to see what I'll think of that. And I'll probably do that for channel purposes. Let's see. Shamrock says the Blu-ray of the properly remastered series is coming in December 2. Yes, he's talking about Babylon 5. I'm very excited about that, actually. I wonder if it's the master that they did for HBO Max when they remastered it for that, or if it's a brand new master. I'm super excited about that. I will definitely be picking that up. Again, love Babylon 5. 2023 is also a good year for Babylon 5. Shamrock says, I hope it is. I hope it is too. I have another video on Underwater Menace I'll be doing at some point soon, kind of talking about just how the animations have changed over the years and how priorities have changed. Because it's very obvious with Underwater Menace that the animation is the main feature and the surviving episodes are the afterthought, that they're, they're there. They haven't remastered them for the Underwater Menace release. They'll probably wait and remaster the surviving episodes for the collection for Blu-ray. They haven't done any remaster work for this Blu-ray release. They've been focused completely on the animation, putting their budget toward that. As for the disc layout, my understanding is that may be getting changed. Several people have been writing into the inquiry DVD Blu-ray website or email, and they've been getting responses back that the surviving episodes and the black and white animation will be on one disc, and the color episodes will be with the special features on disc 2. Now, I haven't seen the BBC release anything official updating saying that, but several people have been posting on the merchandise forum where they've been getting responses about that, which I would prefer because I don't like the originally announced layout with the animations, color and black and white being on one disc and the surviving episodes being on the special features disc is kind of, but they're just extra. I don't like that. It irks me. It feels a little rude to the people who made the original episodes, a little disingenuous. So I'm really hoping they have swapped that around because I don't like swapping discs. I'm going to be annoyed if I want to watch, Underwater Menace with the black and white animation and the surviving episodes in one sitting. I don't feel like swapping discs around. So I'm hoping that they have changed the layout on that. That way we won't have to swap discs. Sutter Kane says Doctor Who's 60th anniversary and B5's 30th anniversary, two of the greatest sci-fi shows of all time. This is, of course, the 30th anniversary of the original pilot of Babylon 5. The series proper started in 94, but the pilot came out in 93. Simon says, hey there, what will be the next second Doctor animated release? I would assume Wheel in Space. It makes sense for it to be Wheel in Space because Wheel in Space, it's the Cybermen. It's Zoe's first story. It would give us all of season 5 ready to go. So I would assume Wheel in Space. Although I would be happy getting the Space Pirates. I absolutely loved the novelization of the Space Pirates. And I think the only reason people don't care for the Space Pirates is the recon it gets harder and harder to get through the more you're watching the recon, especially the lack of telesnaps involved. So I think there's a lot you could do with Space Pirates. That's a good one where they could macro terror it, where they could kind of do their own thing with it and not adhere super closely to what the original episode did. They could kind of experiment and take some liberties with it and actually make it really, really good. TARDIS Spider is telling Simon hello, and Simon said, I'm thinking and hoping it's the Space Pirates. I'd love to get the Space Pirates. The novelization is actually really, really good for the Space Pirates. I was able to create a really nice movie in my mind when I was reading it. let's see. Getting back to, I made notes so I wouldn't forget. The Underwater Menace is the artwork. I'm curious to see what the artwork for the releases of Underwater Menace is going to be, especially the steelbook. I have the steelbook pre-ordered. You guys know I love a nice steelbook, but I really hope they get away from doing the kind of trope or the kind of routine they've gotten into with the steelbooks, probably from Macra on, where they just have the TARDIS on the front and either the enemies on the back or the doctors and the companion facing away on the back. It's just uninspired at this point. And I guess they do it for consistency in the steelbooks, but I don't really like that. It doesn't reach out and grab me. Like, I loved the Power of the Daleks steelbook because it was different. I loved the Shada steelbook, which one of my patrons, JLB, who actually sent to me. I super appreciate that, buddy. The Shada one looks really good. And the Macro one I really like a lot because that was the first time it did that. But ever since then, pretty much all of the steelbooks have been TARDIS on the front with maybe a creature or two around it, or the Doctor and the Companions where you see the back of their head and villains on the back, and it's just kind of boring at this point. So I really hope they do something impressive with this steelbook. The standard edition art will probably just be animation like we've gotten for all of them. The interesting thing is I've seen several people on different forums saying what they're going to do is when they get the DVD of the animation for Underwater Menace they're just going to swap out the artwork from the 2015 release. And that's actually a pretty good idea because as bad as Dylan says, I hate myself. What did you do to say that? What's up, Adrian? I'm doing pretty good today, buddy. Pretty good. I feel pretty good. Sinuses are up a little bit, but I feel pretty good. Because as much as the original release of Underwater Menace, let's be honest, wasn't really that good. That recon was abysmal from what I've heard. The actual artwork for the DVD release for it looked really good. I even used it as the thumbnail for this video. It looks really good. So I think that's actually a clever idea, taking the artwork from the original release and just sliding it into the DVD of this release. That's actually a pretty nifty and good idea, I think. Dylan says, I think Wheel or Highlanders first to get the season as complete as possible with all the missing episodes. Season 6 is likely to come out before the animation of Space Pirates gets done. I agree with that. I do think we'll get season 6 out in the collection before Space Pirates gets animated. I do agree with that. I don't think they'll animate Highlanders. I think Highlanders just has so many issues going on, number of characters, locations, and the kilts. I don't think they're going to animate Highlanders personally, at least not anytime soon. Simon says we need a Lee Binding steelbook design as per series 1 and 2. I would love that. I absolutely love when Lee Binding does the steelbooks. The series 1 and 2 steelbooks are amazing. I have both of them. The 50th anniversary special steelbooks are also amazing. I have that one as well. Lee Binding is my favorite Doctor Who artist, although Alice is a close second. Alice is really good as well. But just anything Lee does looks amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Except for the season 9 cover when John doesn't have eyebrows. I haven't quite got over that. Everything else is amazing. I think that covers most of what I wanted to talk about on Underwater Menace now. Like I said, I have another video where I'm going to talk about the animations and how their priorities seem to have shifted since the invasion. Let's talk about season 20 a little bit. We have gotten the official release date. It is September the 18th, like I had figured. Some of the websites had reported on that earlier. So it's nice that it's coming so soon. I won't actually get it until I think my estimated arrival date's around the 29th. I may get it a little sooner than that because I'm in the States and it has to cross the pond. I hate when it has to cross the pond. So I will be vicariously enjoying it through other people who are posting when they get theirs on YouTube until mine comes in. We've also gotten the disc layout. Trying to remember where I had that. One of the guys on the merchandise forum, Gordon's awesome. Gordon's amazing. He's always good at getting information posted up quick. He went ahead and posted the disc layout. All of the optional CGI effects from the DVDs have carried over, as we all kind of figured they would, like from Arc of Infinity and the Black Guardian trilogy. Those have all carried over. Enlightenment does have the 2009 special edition as well, if you want to watch that. All of the stories only get one disc except for 5 Doctors, which gets 3 discs, a whopping 3 discs. I was kind of surprised that Enlightenment would only get 2, but I think it uses branching to cover the updated effects for it, except for in the 2009 edition. So that's pretty interesting. I did not realize some of the things that are on here. Like it's got a Sunday Superstore excerpt with Bonnie Langford from 1982. I wonder what that's about. And I wonder why that's on this set. Maybe that's something they didn't have access to when they were doing season 23 and season 24, because it's been a while. This is something they've discovered since. But I wonder if it's an excerpt from November 1982, if she's talking what she's talking about. Because this was well before she was in Doctor Who. So I wonder what the conversation's about. I didn't realize Colin was cast as the Sixth Doctor so long before season 21 aired, because it mentions Peter Davison announcing his departure in like summer of '83. That's on here. Colin being announced as the Doctor in August of '83, and another like interview with Colin. I didn't realize that it had been announced the Fifth Doctor was leaving and who the Sixth Doctor was months before season 21 even aired. You know, kind of like what happens now. I didn't think it happened really like that much ahead of time then. So it's interesting to know that on first viewing, a lot of people went into watching season 21 knowing Davison was leaving at the end of it and already knowing Colin was taking over as the Doctor. I didn't know that. So that was actually pretty fascinating to learn for me. I was trying to remember if there were some other things on here. Yeah, where's my button I'm looking for here? Hudson, what's up, Hudson? I'm very much looking forward to your thing that's dropping tomorrow with the Angels. Make sure you post a link for that, because I really want to listen to that. Hudson is a fellow Doctor Who YouTuber who has he collaborates with people on different projects, and he's got a really neat audio, I think, dropping tomorrow involving the Weeping Angels. I'm really looking forward to hearing that. I love the Weeping Angels. He says, so glad we've got the release date for the collection set. Makes me feel like it's a move of confidence with the process now. Perhaps an announcement of a third one in November. I think there's a possibility of that. I'll touch on that actually in a moment. Most are announced a month and a half afterwards. Yeah, they've been really stepping it up with the announcements on those recently. Simon says, now we know that season 20 is out in September. Do you think we'll get another collection set this year? Possibly. I think if we do not get another set this year, it will be early next year. I'm expecting the next release to happen between December and February. I think we could get an announcement in October. And lately, they've been dropping the sets about 2 months after the announcements. Season 9 dropped about 2 months after its announcement. Season 20 will be dropping about 2 months after its announcement. So if we keep with this 2 months after the announcement drop, if they announce in October, technically they could drop in December. I don't know if I want that, though, because I don't know if I want my season 20 set having to cross the pond in December when everybody's doing their Christmas mailing. I actually think I would prefer the next set to come out next year after Christmas, because Christmas is such a hectic time for the mail industry. I don't know if I want my box set getting banged up with all of that, getting delayed, taking forever to get here, which is even more time for it to get banged up. I don't really care for that. So, I actually think I might prefer it to drop in January, February. I think December would be an excellent announcement time. November 23rd would be the perfect day to announce the next set. And if they do the 2 month thing, we could get it in January or maybe February. That's what I would prefer, to avoid having to deal with Christmas time mail and the risk of my box set getting damaged. I think I would prefer to get the announcement for the set after 20 on November 23rd and then have it shipped in January or February. I would be fine with that. Simon says, what do you think the next collection set will be? Gary Russell said he could do Highlanders, but I think they meant doing Highlanders in the 3D way, like Web of Fear. And they really need to work on that technology before they do a whole story with that style of animation, because Web of Fear episode 3 does not look good. The next set, I think the next 2 sets will be one of 3 things. We'll get a Tom, and it'll either be 15 or 16. That's probably what I think the actual next one will be. I think we'll get a Tom. I think it'll be 15 or 16. After that, I think we'll get 6. I think we'll get a Troughton. I think we're due a Troughton. We need a Troughton. I need a Troughton on my shelf. So I think the next 2 sets will be Tom and Troughton, the double T's, with 15 or 16 and season 6. Moving back to the 20th, the 5 Doctors getting 3 discs. That's interesting. Disc 7 is the original broadcast version, which has been restored to HD. Disc 8 is the new 40th anniversary version with the new updated effects, which will be in full HD where it can, the location work. And then Disc 7 is the 1995 special edition with those updated effects, with all sorts of goodies put on them. It's going to be a big set. I was looking over, again, Gordon had posted the disc layout. I was actually looking over the disc layout right before I started this, and that's a lot of stuff in there. I really love the fact that a lot of stuff that were Easter eggs on previous releases, you can actually watch. I hate hidden Easter eggs on DVDs. So I like the fact that stuff I can actually just watch now. I love that they're going to have that little Blue Peter excerpt that was advertising the Five Doctors that had Richard Herndl and Peter Davison together. Because that was a really fun little Easter egg where they like ride in on a little cart or something like that and talk to them. It's on the DVD of the Five Doctors. It's a really fun watch. I really enjoyed it. Oh. Let me hydrate a little bit. So season 20 is September the 18th. I'm super excited about that. And while it does leave us time to get another set this year, I'd prefer it just drop in January or February. Give us our announcement in November. Although, to be fair, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in November, Doctor Who-wise. Let's move on to the Series 1 through 4 remaster that just got announced a day or two ago. I'm curious how much of an improvement has been made with the upscaling, because, of course, Series 1 through 4 was filmed in standard definition all the way through The Next Doctor. I think the first one filmed in True HD was Planet of the Dead. So basically, most of that set is standard definition, upscaled to HD. It's so weird to think that even in the mid to late 2000s, things were still being filmed in standard definition. That's crazy, isn't it? That pretty much the golden era of modern Doctor Who was shot in standard definition. That's just crazy to me. So I'm curious how much of an improvement has been made with the more modern technology to upscale it up. Just watching it from the trailer, I was kind of like, didn't really blow me away. I'm also curious if they have fixed the frame rate. I know the Blu-ray releases have had issues where I think they move at 24 frames per second instead of 25 frames per second. So it runs at a slightly incorrect speed. I know one of the Children in Need specials didn't have like the right incidental music and sound effects with it. I wonder if that's been corrected. I think it's the first one, right? The Born Again one. So I'm curious to see if all of those little mistakes have been tweaked. I'm curious to find out just how much of an improvement has been made. I don't think I will get it. It's dropping on November the 13th of this year, so about 10 days for the anniversary. And I think it looks like it's 55 pounds, which would be about, I think, around $70 US dollars. And I just don't think I need to spend the money on that. I have, besides having all of those episodes on my Steelbook collection, I also have the David Tennant collection that released here in the US. I actually got a good deal on that. So I own these episodes multiple times over. I don't think I need a new version of them. I think they look fine when I watch them on my 720p TV anyway. My TV's like 10 years old. So I don't think it's worth it for me to double dip into this right now. But I am curious whether or not how excited you guys are, whether y'all are thinking about picking it up. So let me know kind of your thoughts on that, whether you think or whether you're waiting to see. I do want to see comparisons on YouTube before anything. I really want to see some of the comparisons between the images on YouTube when this set releases. I'm curious to see what the artwork's going to look like. Are they going to go all out and really give it just some banging, like Lee Binding art? Or is it just going to be something kind of thrown together really quick to get it out there? I do think it's clever of them to re-release this right before Tennant's 60th anniversary specials drop. I think that's a really good idea. But my mind went blank for a second. Sorry. But yeah, I don't think they're for me. I'm excited they're doing them. I feel like the upscales needed some work, and again, they need a chance to correct some of those errors. But I don't think it's anything I need. Do you think the price is a little too steep? 55 pounds, is that too much for this in this day and age? As for the 60, the 60th. I really can't talk today. The 60th anniversary specials. I am excited about those. I love the fact that they have kept those pretty quiet, actually. They've actually kept those pretty quiet. Not a lot going on with them. I love the fact they haven't released any trailers to really spoil anything. Because I used to get really frustrated, especially during the Moffat era, when they would release like upcoming trailers for the season, and it would have so much spoilery stuff in it, like Johnson's Master coming back or the Mondasian Cyberman coming back. And I get they would do it for hype, but it would kind of spoil it. So when you actually got to that episode, you were like, oh yeah, I knew that. So I love the fact they've kind of kept everything quiet. They kind of kept everything on the low here, just kind of giving us little teaser trailers to get us kind of hyped without giving too much away. Like they still haven't even officially confirmed if Neil Patrick Harris is the toy maker or not. We don't actually know what's going on, other than people from the comics who know what Meet the Meep is, which I didn't know until all of this was going on. So I'm really actually excited about the 60th. I figure we'll get one more trailer for them before they drop, but I hope, again, it's just a small little teaser thing where we don't really know what's going on, just to get us hyped about it, and they don't really give too much spoilery information away. As for Series 14, I'm looking forward to seeing what Shooty is going to do with it. I'm not sure if the chat stopped or if that was me, since I switched over to the other channel to look at the disc layout. I haven't seen anything update on the chat lately, so I don't know if y'all are typing anything or if it just did that because I switched over. I'm not 100% certain on that. Real quick. I don't know if it stopped working or not. Nobody's updated in a minute. I am looking forward to seeing Shooty as the Doctor. I've never seen any of his works. I've never watched Sex Education. Oh, TARDIS popped in. So I don't really know if he's a good actor or not. I really can't talk today. It's weird. Like, I've got my AC on, but I'm still sweating. Mississippi weather is just so humid this time of year. Hey, Liam, it's good to see you make it in, buddy. I never mess with Liam Neeson. I feel like he could do bad things to me. But I am looking forward to seeing Shooty, seeing what he's going to do with the role. I'm looking forward to seeing what Russell has planned for this new era of his, where he's going to take the show. Hopefully, what I really want is for the show to go in different directions. I don't want to be on Earth all the time, especially modern day Earth. I'm sick of being on modern day Earth. If I want to be on, contemporary Earth, I'll go watch some Pertwee. I really want Doctor Who to go. I'd love to see Doctor Who go to the future that's not like the super future, like the 30th century. I'd love to see Doctor Who go to like 2065 or 2050, just slightly in the future, to kind of see maybe what they think 20 or 30 years from now would be like. That would be a fun episode. I would enjoy that. Maybe they're fighting against an Orwellian society or something, or maybe they're fighting against some Fahrenheit 451 stuff. That'd be interesting to see. I do like the fact that it looks like Shooty's going to have several different outfits. I think that's pretty cool. I love the fact they seem to be going to like the 60s. That'll be pretty neat. I kind of like when he goes to like the recent past. I really want an episode where they go to the 80s, go to America in the 80s. I would love that. That would be fun. But I really want to see them do a lot of other planets, like different planets, different societies, where if they have any kind of political message they want to make, it's done, kind of like Let There Be That Last Battlefield in the original Star Trek. That was a great way to do a political message while still making an interesting story. So you could do something like that where they go to another planet and they're having to deal with things on that planet that are make a nice allegory for stuff people are dealing with here, but it doesn't feel like someone's beating you over the head with it like the Whittaker era. I would enjoy that a lot. Trevor Stone says, I only have the original DVDs, so I've been convinced that getting 4 out of 5 classic New Who series on Blu-ray is justified. I am also playing the birthday present card with my family. Oh, your birthday's in November. Clever. That is a good way to get that. I will admit, if someone just gave me the upscales, I'd certainly take them. That's clever. But yeah, I'm not sure what I think of Ruby Sunday. I really didn't want another modern series companion, and I'm just getting the impression she's another modern era companion. Excuse me. I kind of want a companion either from another planet, or I'd love to have a companion from like the past or the future. But like, I would love to have a companion that's like from medieval times. That would be cool. Like maybe a squire. Like I have this kind of vision in my head where if I was writing a Doctor Who story, it would be like a girl that wanted to be a knight or a squire, so she disguises herself as a boy with short hair, and then becomes a squire, and then meets the Doctor. That's kind of the companion I want to meet from the past. That would be fun for me. Sir Meows a lot says, "Hello, I am super late. How much left?" Well, I've covered most of what I want to talk about, but we'll see. I kind of get off into tangents. Right now, I'm just kind of talking about Series 14 and then kind of what I would have liked to have seen. I am excited about Shooty being the Doctor. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I can't remember how many episodes were supposed to be in Series 14. Was it 8? And I know it's scaled back. I think it's like 8 episodes, which I think is fine. You don't run into filler. They can just tell the story they want to tell. Liam says, I hope Series 14 is different from Russell's first era, so it isn't just the same. Avon lives, Pex lives. Interesting. You should mention that. I actually have next Saturday's video is actually not going to be a Doctor Who video. It will be a chat premiere. It'll be a premiere, so there'll be a live chat. But I will be reacting and reviewing episode 1 of Blake's 7, The Way Back, which has a severe lack of Paul Darrow, I might add. Highly disappointed in that. But that will be next Saturday's video. I will be reacting to episode 1 of Blake 7. And that will be the edited version of it that's there. The unedited full version of it is on the Patreon. It's like 57 minutes long. And I will be doing that for all of the reactions to Blake 7 and reviews. The unedited versions will be on Patreon. The first several will be available to all tiers. I think the ones after that will be the $5 and up tier. So if you've been wanting me to do some Blake 7 stuff, that is coming. Matter of fact, I've already shot the reaction and review for episode 2 of Blake 7, but I haven't edited it yet. They'll drop just when they drop. There won't be a set time for those, but they're coming. Pex lives. I need to rewatch Paradise Towers, actually. I really do. I've seen it once. I really liked it. I've been wanting to watch it with that original audio that exists for it. So I have been wanting to do that as well. But it's been interesting that we're finally getting news. With the animations are coming back. That's good news. I'm curious to find out if the Smugglers is indeed getting animated, because the original rumor from the Mira, and it was from Nicola, and Nicola seems to know her stuff. Obviously, she's got a source somewhere. She seems to be pretty spot on when she does announcement things. She's the one who dropped, I know, Evil of the Daleks as well. The news about that when it came out. So I'm curious to see if we will find out anything about the Smugglers coming as well. We do know that the Underwater Menace animation is supposed to drop in November. I don't think we've gotten the official date yet, but it's dropping in November. So we could also, right around Doctor Who's birthday, right after Underwater Menace drops, get an announcement for the Smugglers. We do know they've recolored the existing segments of the Smugglers. I think it's like 47 seconds of the Smugglers that still exist. That's been recolored because they showed that at that Missing Believed White event they do. And I figure if they're recoloring them, it may be as a companion piece to an upcoming animation. So hopefully we'll be getting news about the Smugglers getting animated, because I love the novelization. I reviewed the novelization of Smugglers recently, and it was really, really, really good. Foggy says Pex would have made a better Ken than Gosling. Lou Gatwa. Hudson says, knowing they fixed the disc arrangement for Underwater Menace, I'm glad it'll be like the others. But see, I haven't actually seen where they've officially said that. I know people have sent messages to the Inquiry DVD Blu-ray line, and the responses they've gotten back have claimed that they fixed it and that they're going to be like the previous releases. But I haven't seen the BBC put out a statement actually saying, just broadly to the public, yes, we hear you, we're changing it. Tarna says, back to Underwater is often disliked. Is that because the story is childish or just bad? An animated story thought to be childish might be a good point for younger people to start older classic Who. See, I've never actually watched the Underwater Menace. I thought about it, but when the rumor of the animation dropped, I decided to wait and see. I actually have the surviving episodes on the Lost in Time box set that it was either Simon or Lance sent that. So I have the episodes, but I wanted to wait to see if the animation actually got announced, and it did. However, I agree with you because the Underwater Menace is kind of a silly story by reputation. It's not well regarded. It's kind of silly. The fish people look silly. I do think that it's one of the times where them completely animating it and kind of leaning into that with that kind of Scooby-Doo animation style might actually work. You know, giving it that colorful appearance that the color version gives it, it might actually work for this. This is one where you could lean into that kind of comedic silliness of it and make that work. So I actually do agree with that. Sir Meows a Lot says, I have watched the DVD of Underwater. I think the story seems good, a comedy. The 2 surviving episodes are awesome. Makes me wish we had it all. And Jake says, oops, I forgot this was on. What's up, Jake? How you doing, buddy? I have a feeling that might be why I'm guessing they've taken liberties with the animation, maybe changed a few things to lean more into that comedic goofiness of the story, which could make that good to watch for the animation. My only issue is I'm worried that they've changed so much that it's going to be jarring going from animation to live action back to animation because they changed so much that's jarring. Abominable Snowmen is like that. If you try to watch episode 2 of Abominable Snowmen with the animation, it's really jarring, even though I agree with a lot of the changes made to Abominable Snowmen, especially as it pertains to the actor's appearance. I do agree with the changes made to that. But it's still jarring watching that surviving episode 2. Same thing with Galaxy 4. I like the Galaxy 4 animation a lot, but watching the black and white animation with the surviving episode 3 is very jarring because they completely changed the interior of the rail ship encampment. Because they're not actually in the rail ship. You have to remember they're in that little encampment that's set up. Whereas the animation makes it look like they're in the rail ship, which they're not. They're just in that little encampment outside it. And that's very jarring, actually, watching the surviving episode 3 with the animation. So when I watch Galaxy 4, I either watch all animation or I watch the surviving episode 3 with recons. So I'm worried Underwater Menace will be like that as well. Jake says, I always thought the 2 surviving episodes were great. I never got when people poop on Classic Who. I love it all. I mean, Classic Who has its ups and downs. I mean, there's a certain squid story that's not really that great. Twin Dilemma is not much to write home about, even though it has some things I like. Warriors of the Deep's not really that great. I mean, anything that runs 26 seasons is going to have some episodes that are not very great. Let's just be honest. I never understand these people who are like, I love all of Doctor Who, all of it. There's no bad episode ever. I'm like, really? None? No bad episode ever? 40 seasons and there's not one you dislike? I never quite get that. Because there's nothing wrong with being critical over something you like. The fact you like it is why you're so critical of it. Hudson says it's crazy to think that Trouton's era is almost complete now because of animation. Next, Fury from the Deep Special Edition. Yes, Fury from the Deep Special Edition. Completely redo the animation from scratch. It's kind of funny. I actually, back when we thought we were getting all the animations, remember when we were getting like 3 animations in 1 year in 2020, 2021? And we were just riding high on animations. I actually did a list. I wrote down a list of how the animations were going to go out between BBC Studios, Big Finish Creative, and that branch of Big Finish Creative that were working on 3D animations who did Web of Fear. I figured we'd get more of those. And I was so arrogant that one of the animations I had slotted in on that list was a Fury from the Deep Special Edition with completely new animation. Hubris, pure hubris. Dylan says Fury is the best Trouton animation, though. No. I don't care for the Fury animation. One, you can tell it was rushed because the team who did Fury's animation also did Galaxy 4 and Snowmen's. And theirs are great. I love the Galaxy 4 animation. I love the Abominable Snowmen animation. Fury's was rushed, and that does show. But I don't like the liberties they took, like making the backgrounds bigger, because I feel like it takes away from the claustrophobic nature of the story, having some of the areas wider than they're supposed to be. And Trouton never quite looks right to me. And then like some of the soldiers wearing masks so they don't have to animate the faces. But again, it was on a deadline. You can tell it was rushed. No bad episode of Classic Who to me. I love them all I've seen so far. I always find something to like. And that's true. Even in stories that are bad, a lot of times you can find something in them that's enjoyable. I mean, like even in Peter Capaldi's bad stories, Peter Capaldi is great in them. He's one of the best actors to ever play the role. Unknown 289. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you back. Unknown 289 is, of course, one of my patrons as well and has sent me a lot of Doctor Who related things. Huge supporter of the channel. Have I talked about the remasters yet? Yes, I have. Unknown says, do you think an unearthly child colorization? Here's the thing. I agree with colorizing the first episode of an unearthly child. I don't know if I need the other 3 episodes colorized. I mean, I like them. I've talked before about how I actually like all of an unearthly child, but let's be honest, the highlight is episode 1. I can see them colorizing episode 1 of that. And you don't really need the other 3 episodes because episode 1 is kind of a complete story in its own right. You literally could watch episode 1 of An Unearthly Child and skip straight to the Daleks if you wanted to, and it wouldn't feel jarring or out of place. It really wouldn't, honestly. I don't mind them colorizing 60s episodes the more I think about it, because they're not George Lucasing it. They're not taking the old ones away to where you can only watch the updated ones. They're not doing like with Star Wars, where it's really hard to find a good quality version of the original trilogy from the theatrical release. Here, the black and white versions still exist. So if you don't like the colorized versions, you can just go watch the black and white versions. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe 1 or 2 stories colorized. Maybe 1 from the Hartnell era, 1 from the Troughton era, just to see how it would look. Now, some of them I don't think would work. Like the Mind Robber works in black and white. The Web of Fear works in black and white. I think some of these stories wouldn't work in color as well. But like if you did, I'm trying to think of a really good example. Like The Invasion in color could be good. I don't think it would be as iconic as the black and white version, but I would watch it if they did it, even though I don't think they do an 8-parter in animation, so that's a bad example. Jake says, so cool with this release as well that we have 59 episodes that are consecutive in Troughton's era, Underwater through Fury. That is really cool. John Reed, what's up, John? How you doing? Says the Recons did stories without the snaps, and Dalek's Master Plan is great. It'd be a great template. Space Pirates do the audio, don't use what's recorded. And he says he agrees on Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi is a great actor. The 12th Doctor is kind of in the middle of my list, but Peter Capaldi is definitely one of the best doctors to ever play the role. Of all the doctors, of all the living actors to have played the Doctor, the one I would want to interview the most on the channel would be Peter Capaldi. If I could get him to give me a bluntly honest interview, because I've always wondered if he was ready to go or not, or if they wanted him to go, because Chris Chibnall wanted to bring in his own doctor, and I know Peter had another year left on his contract. At least that's my understanding. I've always wondered if he decided to go or if they politely wanted him to go, because we do have to remember ratings started dropping in the Capaldi era, not the Whittaker era. They dropped more then, but in the Capaldi era is really where Modern Who started dipping out of the mainstream audience, in my opinion. So I've always wondered what Peter Capaldi's honest thoughts are. Like, and we all know Peter Capaldi is a huge Doctor Who fan. Like even in classical, even back in the 70s, when he was growing up, he loved Doctor Who. We know this. So I'm always curious if he got to play the Doctor the way he wanted, or if that was just kind of the narrative given to him. If he got to do the stories he wanted, or if that's just the way his era went. Like I've always wondered how satisfied Peter Capaldi was with his era as the Doctor and the stories and the quality of writing, or if he would have preferred to have done it differently, more like maybe some stuff in Classic Who that he grew up with. I would love to pick Peter Capaldi's brain if I could get him to be honest, because sometimes in interviews you get this impression that there's a lot he's not saying. He's very polite because he's a very professional. He's a professional actor. He's very polite, so he's never going to just out and out, I think, say if he had an issue with it. I don't think he would just bluntly say that. But I wish he would. Like I'd love to get his honest opinions on his version of the Doctor and on his era of the show, and whether he was satisfied by the end result. I would love to find that out. Jake says, how do you feel about the BBC listening to us and changing the disc layout from Underwater? Again, I hope all of that's right. I'm really excited about it if that's the case, because that's how all the previous sets did it, or most of the previous sets. Disc 1 was the black and white one with the surviving episodes, as it should be. That way we can watch it with the surviving episodes, with disc 2 being the color one. Because I like how they labeled disc 1 as the black and white one, more just to honor the original episodes since they were done in black and white, even though it's very obvious from macro forward the color version has been the main focus and is what they consider the definitive one. Matter of fact, the season 2 collection box set with Hartnell, when they usually have the coming soons on them. When you watch the Time Meddler, the coming soon special feature on that disc, they have the coming soon for Galaxy 4, and it is the animation, and it is the color version of the animation that's on that. If y'all have never noticed that, which I think is pretty cool. So I am curious, as I've talked about in other videos, exactly how they're going to do the season 3 and 4 box sets, because that's going to be a lot of material, especially with so many of those stories having to be animated and having so many different versions of them, because a lot of those stories are going to have a color version, a black and white version, and a recon. And I'm curious how they're going to make that work with disc space, because there's no way you're going to have a collection box set that's like 13, 14 discs. It won't work. Speaking of which, I've noticed going back to the series 1 through 4 masters, I'm curious what the packaging for that's going to look like. It's got to be a big Blu-ray tub because it's 18 discs. Those masters are going to be 18 discs. So I'm curious exactly what the packaging is going to look like for that series 1 through 4 remaster. I'm just guessing it's going to be a really big plastic tubs like those you can see right there in the background. Jake says, I remember you hearing you are a Columbo fan. It's been announced today that it's had a 4K restoration and all 7 seasons are coming to Blu-ray. That is news to me, but that is exciting news. I appreciate you letting me know. Really? Somebody will have to pop down in the comments later and post a link to that, because yes, I do love Columbo. Matter of fact, Columbo is basically the second Doctor, but without the sci-fi aspects. If you love Troughton and you love the second Doctor, you'd probably love Columbo. Those two would get on like a house on fire. Columbo is one of my favorite shows. Peter Falk's one of my favorite actors, and he won 4 Emmys in that role, actually. And I have the DVD box set. It's here somewhere. It's just out of camera range, actually, right there. You can see it right there. Because I do love the DVDs. I love all the guest stars that show up. I love Columbo. So if they're doing a Blu-ray set of that, I will be on board. I will be on board the choo-choo hype train for that. I'll get the Columbo Blu-ray set before I get the series 1 through 4 upscale masters. Hudson says, I really hope the series 1 through 4 Blu-ray isn't a big plastic tub. I hate those things. But how else would they do it if it's going to be 18 discs? Like, I know several people have said that they want it to maybe look kind of like the collection art. Like maybe have a box set that looks kind of like the art on the collection range. And while I think that's a neat idea, there's no way you could do this in a limited edition packaging with 18 discs. That's just too many discs. So they should have done steelbooks for the remasters. I don't think so. Just because that would be a really big steelbook, a really big tub. And I've already got steelbooks. I don't want to get sucked into getting more steelbooks. What they need to do is reissue that Series 9 steelbook or do a new Series 9 steelbook. Has anyone seen what that Series 9 steelbook goes for now on eBay or Amazon? Cool. Because it was an Amazon exclusive. I was convinced they were going to redo the Series 9 steelbook. Either re-release it with Alice's art, which is beautiful, or do new art to make it more in line with the Series 1 through 8 steelbooks. They need to do that because it drives me crazy not having the Series 9 steelbook on my shelf. And they also need to redo that Series 11 steelbook because that Series 11 steelbook is terrible, which is, I guess, is kind of fitting for Series 11 now that I think about it. But the Series 11 steelbook really needs to be redone. Let's see. Hudson says, as long as they don't make the tub look blatantly tub-like, I don't mind too much. Maybe giving it a black casing rather than the bright blue. Yeah, I mean, it's all how much money are they going to throw into it? I mean, they're asking 55 pounds for it, which I think is around $70 US. If they're asking that much, it needs to present because presentation is a big deal. That's the reason why I import the UK sets instead of buying the US sets of the collection. You know, I think you guys know my shelf is important to me. I like how my shelf looks while I got my Thundercats and stuff up. So I also agree they need to take some time and plan a proper presentation for that. Jake says November 21st release date. Oh, for the Columbo? Oh, that's right around the corner. Right. Excellent. That's only a couple months away. Or what, 3 months away? Super exciting. I haven't gotten a link yet. It may be down in the comments. I'll look. Matt, Doctor Who's Magical Entertainment. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you make it in. Says, I hope they do a steelbook of the TV movie for its 30th anniversary. And Dylan says, would prefer that more in a Wilderness Years set. I would like a steelbook for the TV movie just to have it on the shelf, but I would much prefer them actually do a fresh scan for the 30th anniversary for it. Because while the TV movie was filmed on film, it was shot on film, it was edited on videotape, and the special effects were done on videotape, like Star Trek The Next Generation, basically, because that's just kind of how America did TV in the 90s a lot of times for stuff like that. Shoot on film, edit on videotape. Now, I don't know if, because I believe the original film elements for the TV movie are here in America, like Universal or Fox or somebody has it, if they haven't lost it. I don't know if the film elements are still held or if they've been lost for the TV movie. If somebody still has them and they know where they are, I would love for them to do like they did with Star Trek The Next Generation, just completely re-edit it and redo the special effects, although I know that would be expensive. And then we get like a true HD scan of the TV movie, and then you have a chance for some optional upgraded special effects too. I definitely do want a Wilderness Years set. Ham! What's up, Ham? Ham has been a follower of the channel for a long time. He's one of the earliest followers that I remember when I see him. He was also one of my earliest patrons and really helped me get the ball rolling on the Patreon, which I appreciated. So I'm always happy to see Ham. Even if he does like Power of Kroll. I forgive him because he also loves Horror of Fang Rock, and Horror of Fang Rock's amazing. Ham, I think Horror of Fang Rock is your favorite Who story, isn't it? Is that like your favorite classic Who story? I know we're both huge fans of it. But yes, I do very much want a Wilderness Years set a lot. We need it. Because if we ever do get modern Who in the collection range, it's a long way off, but if we do, I need to have an 8th Doctor on the shelf between 7th Doctor and 9th Doctor. And plus, I just think there's so much stuff from the 90s they could put on that set. That would be nice. The Power of Squid is great with butter and garlic. And Ham says, yep, my favorite Who story is Fang Rock, which is a good one. Easily the best of, it's easily the best story of season 15, and it's easily one of the best stories from the post-Hinchcliffe era. I love Horror Fang Rock. I hope it gets some updated effects. I would actually like if anything gets updated effects for the season 15 set, I think I would like it to be Horror Fang Rock. Because there's just some little tweaking they could do with that, in my opinion. What about doing series 1 through 4 box set in the style of the collection sets? I know Lee Binding has said he hasn't been asked to do the cover, but he wants to. I think it would be too big. 18 disc. I mean, imagine trying to get one of these box sets with 18 disc. I really think you can't go more than 10 disc in these sets. I mean, the series 2 one with 9 disc is a beefy boy. You might can do 10 disc, but I think anything more than that, you're going to have problems with it not working really well. Dylan says, meant a steelbook set like for the Star Trek 50th ones. Where there's individual steelbook sets, I don't know. Maybe if it was done well. I don't know. I'd have to see how they did it. Joseph Adams says, are we getting the next Doctor Who, the collection set season of 15 next? What about 17 on standard Blu-ray? I'm surprised we haven't got an announcement for 17 on the standard Blu-ray yet. You figure that would be, like, if we can't get a Tom season out, like 15 or 16, if we can't get that out this year in the anniversary year, that would be a good way to say, well, we did get a Tom season out for the anniversary year by releasing the standard edition of 17. That way you can actually say, well, we put a Tom out in 2023. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't done that yet. Hudson said, yeah, what's happened to the standard Blu-ray range? Especially because, like, the gap had been narrowing on them. Instead of like 2 years between the limited edition and the standard edition, the gap for that had been narrowing with the last couple of releases. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten 17 yet. I suspect 17 will come before the end of the year, though, honestly. Ham says, yeah, I'm excited to see those new upscales of Series 1 through 4. Will be interesting to see how much it's improved. And they'll be with today's tech. I will admit, I'm curious. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I want to see comparisons on YouTube between them. I actually want to see people who know way more about this than I do, people who really know about upscaling and all of that, talking about it. I want to see their reviews on YouTube and when they say how much better the new upscale is compared to the old. I'm actually really interested in that. Hudson says the standard releases just seem to vanish off a cliff. Jake says the new series 1 through 4 sort of screws the steel books. They aren't definitive anymore. Maybe they'll do new steel books. Trevor says, what about normal size case for each series 1 through 4, all in a slipcase? Which I think is the same thing Dylan was talking about, where each series has its own individual steelbook inside a big slipcase, like they did with the Batman movie steelbook releases they did last year. I think that would be interesting. That would be a nice limited edition. I don't know. I don't think 55 pounds would cover that, though, because the steelbooks themselves are usually $30 a piece. I think if they were doing series 1 through 4 as limited edition steelbooks, that'd be like a $100 set, honestly. Joseph says season 6 might be next year. We're waiting for Space Pirates to come back. I don't know. Like, I always take missing episodes with a grain of salt. I don't like getting my hopes up on that, so I never believe anything until the BBC says something. So I don't know how I feel about that. I do need a Troughton on the shelf, and season 6 seems the best way to go. Says I'm excited for season 20 in 4 weeks. I am too. I very much am too. Jake says Torchwood Blu-ray had all 4 seasons in one. They had the same inside as the collection sets, lots of plastic disc holders. See, I didn't know that. I'm not a big Torchwood fan. I tend not to like Doctor Who spinoff shows a lot, actually. Doctor Who's Magical Entertainment says, if they do Modern Who in the collection range, will they still label them series 1, 2, 3, or do you think they'll label them season 26, 27, 28? I think they'll label them series 1, 2, 3. Because that's what they're called. That's what they've always been called. That's what they've always been marketed as. Labeling them season 27, 28, 29 would just be confusing. Like if somebody asked me, what do you think of season 33 of Doctor Who? My first thought's going to be, oh, fuck, which one is that one? Like, seriously, I don't know which one that one's going to be. So I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to mentally do the math in my head to convert that. Like right now, I couldn't tell you which one season 33 is. I don't know. And I think, plus people might be intimidated if they see, ooh, David Tennant, season 28. Because people know them as, series 3, series 4, series 5. So I'm pretty sure that would be how they label them if they ever come out in the collection range. It makes more sense. Plus, that would give them the opportunity if they want to revamp anything on the artwork, like they have any things they want to tweak, like changing the logo. Maybe by the time they start doing Modern Who, they'll want to update the logo, and they might want to change a few other things on the box art. So they would probably do that then. But they've already said, I think it was Richard Bingle or whatever his name is, Gordon was saying on the merchandise forum that somebody who's heavily involved with the collection sets has already specifically said recently that the original remit they did was for the original Classic Who series, nothing to do with Modern Who, and that they wouldn't do anything with Modern Who until Classic Who finished. So I think it was at least 2028, 2030 before they were even going to look at doing Modern Who in the collection range. Let's see, where was I? Shamrock says, I'm looking forward to griping on Upscale for sure. But I mean, they were filmed in standard definition. What else can you do with that? Ham says, I'm conditioned now that when I see or read anything Squid, I think of this channel. It's not long and we'll have this story on Blu-ray. Yeah, Power of Crawl is kind of the poster child of not good classic Doctor Who stories for this channel, even though I'm not actually sure if it's my least favorite. To be honest, I'd probably rather watch it over Delta and the Bannerman. I really don't care for Delta and the Bannerman. So I think I might actually like Power of Crawl better than Delta and the Bannerman. Bobby's going to hate me saying that, but it's true. Joseph says, I think season 7 is 2025, Power Plant, Inferno. near my hometown in Ashford, Kent. That's pretty cool. That would actually be a good year to release season 7. That would be the 55th anniversary of the season, so that would actually work really well. Jake says, when you think about New Who has 13 series, each episode is almost double the length compared to Classic Who. So that's 26 series. It's just as imposing as Classic Who is to newcomers now. I don't know if I look at it like that, to be honest. Because for me, 26 seasons versus 13, still mentally, I think of 26 as just twice as much. I pre-ordered series 1 through 4 in November just in case prices go up. That's smart. Ham says, what are you most excited about after season 20 comes out? Is it the next set or the anniversary specials? The next set. I'm excited about the anniversary specials. I am. I mentioned early in the video that I love the fact that they haven't really been giving much away in the trailers like the Moffat era did. The Moffat era would spoil things. Let's just be honest, like Sims coming back or the Mondasian Cybermen. I love the fact that they've been very coy with information on the 60th anniversaries. We really don't know a lot of what's going on. I like that. I kind of want to go into it blind. But I am more excited for the next collection set because I tend to prefer Classic Who to Modern Who just overall. I love Classic Who has its ups and downs. Modern Who has its ups and downs. But I really prefer Classic Who just as a whole. I really need to do a video just a Classic Who versus Modern Who. I really need to do that. That has been on my list for a while. So I'm more excited about what's next because I figure what's next is either going to be 15 or 16 or 6. And I love all of those seasons. Hudson says, I can't wait for the day Power of Kroll is on Blu-ray for this channel. It's going to be a big day. There should be a live watch. They should send Kroll plushies and go the full hog. Actually, one of my unboxing videos, it was JLB Who, when he sent me the Shot of Steelbook, he mentioned in the note, you have a big surprise inside the Steelbook. When it took me a second to find it, when I opened the Steelbook, he got me that the Kroll card, like the little Doctor Who card game. It was the one of Kroll on it. It was absolutely hilarious. So if they ever make a Kroll plushie, I guarantee you somebody would send it to me. And I think y'all know my sense of humor well enough by now to know I just find it absolutely hilarious. I will do that. I'm saying it right here. When the Blu-ray set for 16 comes out, I will be doing a rewatch of Kroll. And that probably would be funny to live stream, actually, if I could do it without YouTube striking it. But that would be absolutely hilarious. I'd probably do that. Sir Meows a lot says, Kroll, Kroll, Kroll. And I'm over here going, no, no, no. Matt Smith's third series, aka Series 7, would be season 33. See, I wouldn't be able to do that in my head very easy. I'm an American, math bad. I know 2 + 2 is 22. After that, it gets confusing. You take 2, you add another 2, you have 22. My math teacher hated me. And I actually, Series 7 is a bit underrated, in my opinion, for Matt Smith's era. At least Series 7B. I like Series 7B a lot. Crimson Horror is just silly fun. I love it. Joseph says, looking forward to Series 1 through 4 in December. Foggy says, Delta is phenomenal. Yes, phenomenally bad. The only reason it suffers is that it follows directly after an all-time masterpiece of television. Oh, Paradise Towers. I do love Paradise Towers. I love Paradise Towers. That's a great one. Delta, I just don't get into a lot. Now, again, to be fair, I've only watched it the one time. It does deserve a rewatch. Sir Meows a lot says, I can't wait to see Neil Patrick Harris in new episodes, whatever he's in. I like Neil Patrick Harris in almost anything. Ever since the first time I watched Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, which I love the first 2 Harold and Kumar movies. The third one's fine, but I love the first 2 Harold and Kumar movies. I've been a big Neil Patrick Harris fan ever since. I liked him in How I Met Your Mom, which was a good show. So I'm excited to see him in this. What's the last classic story you watched for your own enjoyment, not as a video for the channel? Well, to be fair, sometimes I pick ones for the channel, but sometimes I pick one for both. And just because I want to increase my knowledge of stories I haven't seen, like there are reviews coming soon for the Myth Makers. I have watched all of the recons for the Myth Makers. Videos are coming for that. And I'd say the Space Pirates, maybe, because I actually watched that, I think, after the Myth Makers. I forget. Because I'd always wanted to experience the Space Pirates because I figured being a Robert Holmes story, it had to be better than its reputation because it's Bob Holmes. The Grotons is way better than its reputation. And I believe, honestly, the only reason the Space Pirates reputation is so bad is that the recon is hard to get through. The actual surviving episode 2 is fine, and the novelization of it's really good. Ham says, yeah, I think if you ever do merchandise, you should debut it with Crawl and Android Invasion t-shirts. That would be funny. I think Matt Smith and Peter will be the next series 5 through 8 Blu-ray next year. TARDIS Spider says 7 times 13 equals 28. That is an Abbott and Costello reference. I know that one. Yes, that's probably my favorite Abbott and Costello bit, actually, when they're doing the 7 times 13 is 28. I love that one. Joseph says, I think Series 1 will be in 2025. They said 2 Color Out stories will be involved with the set. I'm fine with that. By 2025, I'll be ready for another Hartnell season. It's Sylvester McCoy's birthday tomorrow. Happy early birthday to Sylvester McCoy, who is an amazing Doctor. The McCoy era is the most underrated era in all of Doctor Who, in my opinion. You guys know I love the McCoy era. Really, the only 2 stories I don't get into from his run are Delta and Greatest Show, even though I know Greatest Show is hugely popular. It doesn't do much for me. But I've only seen it the one time. It needs to have a rewatch. It's actually on the wish list, on the Amazon wish list. If anyone ever actually sent me that, I'd give it a good rewatch. Hint, hint. I think seasons 15, 6, and 25 is next in the collection set. I'll be glad when we get season 25. I wonder if they'll wait till 2025 to give us season 25, or if they might go ahead and drop it in 2024. Because it has been a while since 24 came out. Foggy says, I remember Neil Patrick Harris as Doogie Howser. I do too. I never watched a lot of Doogie Howser, but I remember. I'm watching 5 Doctors in November. That's probably going to be the first thing I watch on the season 20 set. Well, actually, I'll probably watch Arc of Infinity again, and then 5 Doctors. Mike Crawford, what's up, Mike? Says, if I can get the upgraded season 1 through 4, I'll move the disc to my Steelbooks. I get that. I think several people will do that. I already know a lot of people are saying when their DVD of Underwater Menace comes in, the animation, they're just going to swap out the artwork from the original DVD release, because the artwork looks good. That original DVD release artwork for Underwater Menace looks really good. They're just going to swap that out and put the artwork in the new DVD case, which I think is a clever idea. I wonder season 2 will be a big standard release. I'm sure it will. It'll be 9 discs. It'll be a big standard release. Yeah. So I'm curious, what are people looking forward to watching first in the season 20 set? For me, it's going to be Arc of Infinity. I have been waiting to do a rewatch of Arc of Infinity for like 2 years. I own the DVD, but I've been waiting for the box set. Which we thought we were getting like 2 years ago. So I've been waiting for it. So I'm finally going to get to rewatch Arc of Infinity, because that is one of these stories I remember from my childhood. It is one of those few stories I actually remember from being little. After I watch Arc of Infinity, I will probably watch the 5 Doctors, the updated 40th anniversary 5 Doctors with the updated effects and the glorious looking location work, which will be in true HD, because the original film elements do survive for the 5 Doctors. So that's actually going to be my next one. And then I don't know if I will actually go through a lot of the episodes. I've seen a lot of them recently. I will probably go straight into Behind the Sofas, because Behind the Sofa is probably my favorite of the new special features that come on these sets, besides like updated effects and stuff. I tend to love Behind the Sofa a lot, especially when TARDIS Team 5 is there. I love when TARDIS Team 5 is there. So I will probably be watching all of the Behind the Sofas. Foggy says, love Greatest Show. First watched it when I was 4 years old, so nostalgia probably clouds my opinion. That's probably one of the reasons why I love Arc of Infinity so much. I know it doesn't have the best reputation, but again, I remember seeing it when I was little, so I love that story. Nostalgia is a real thing. What do you think will be the artwork for the Steelbook? I guess it will include the TARDIS again. Yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. And I hope it doesn't, because for me, that's just lazy at this point, with them just doing the TARDIS on the front and doing the villains on the back, or doing the Doctor and the companions where you see the back of their head on the back. It's just lazy at this point. So I really need the Underwater Menace art on the Steelbook to do something different. A lot like the Power of the Dalek Steelbook and the Shava Steelbook did, instead of falling into that same trope of TARDIS on the front, villains on the back, because it's just kind of boring at this point, even though I have the Steelbook ordered. Hudson says, I can't wait to see Enlightenment. Only seen the original version and only seen it once. I am excited about Enlightenment too. Actually, that's probably what I'll do before I watch Behind the Sofa. I will watch the new version of Enlightenment, because I love Enlightenment. It's my favorite story of the season besides Five Doctors. And I've seen the original release. I've seen the 2009 version, which Hudson, the 2009 version with those updated effects, is also on the set. It's done in widescreen, and it's done in a movie format like the 2017 version of Shada. So some stuff's been edited out, but it's on there. But I am looking forward to seeing it with the 2023 effects a lot. He says, I want to see the 2 updated special effects versions. Yeah. Ham says, I actually haven't seen any of season 20 except for 5 Doctors. Davison's seasons 20 and 21 are the last bit of Classic Who I need to see, so bittersweet. Yes, I know what you mean. One of the things I've always bragged on the channel was how happy and proud I am that there's still Classic Who I hadn't seen for the first time. And over the course, especially the past 2 years since I've had the P.O. box, and you guys have been very generous about sending stuff, which I really appreciate. A lot of you have sent multiple things, like Lance and Simon and Unknown 289 and JLB. They've sent several things. And because of that, I've really filled in most of my gap. I've seen every complete story now. There's only seven Classic Who stories I haven't seen now, and all of them are at least partly missing. I've seen all of the complete stories at this point. And while it's cool, I'm getting to see Classic Who I've never seen before, it's also a little sad. Like, I've now seen all of the 70s and 80s Who. I'll never get to see a new Tom Baker or John Pertwee or anything from the 80s for the first time again. That's a little sad. I've never seen Underwater Menace, so that's going to be a real treat for me when Underwater Menace drops. Kenneth, what's up, Kenneth? It's good to see you making in. Says, I've been waiting for the 5 Doctors in HD because JNT has all of the original film elements retained. It's going to look amazing. Super excited about that myself, especially just considering I love the 5 Doctors anyway. Do the Arkham Infinity 16mm films exist, or were they not available? I haven't heard anything about film elements being used for Arkham Infinity, so I don't know if they exist or if someone has them and just wouldn't let them use them, like with 2 Doctors. But I haven't heard anything about film elements being used. Foggy D says, we'll be making a beeline for Modern Undead. Yay, it's the brig. I do like Modern Undead. I think it's a little overrated, but I do like it. Jake says, same David, minus 5 Doctor season 20 will be brand new to me. So excited. I like season 20. I really do like season 20. It's hard for me to pick between my favorite Davison's season between 19 and 20, because 19 has Kenda and Kenda sucks. Doctor Who's Magical Entertainment says, since they're reusing the diamond logo, I hope they reuse the 70s titles in the 60th anniversary specials, but replace Tom Baker with David Tennant like they reused the 60s titles for the 50th. I would love that. That is an ingenious idea. Plus, we've never had Tennant's face in the opening titles before, so it would be a great opportunity to finally have Tennant's face in the opening titles of a Doctor Who story. They need to do that. I love that idea. That is a great idea. Ham says, excited to see Enlightenment. The story sounds really interesting, and the effects look great. Enlightenment is part of a trilogy. Modern Undead, Terminus, and Enlightenment are all a trilogy, basically. Basically, it's called the Black Guardian Trilogy. Matter of fact, it's even sold in a box set that way. I actually have that box set right here. So you'll want to watch, Ham, you'll want to watch Modern Undead, then Terminus, and then Enlightenment to get that full story. And Valentine is back playing the Black Guardian. He played the Black Guardian in season 16 in the Armageddon Factor. He is back playing the Black Guardian here, and he is amazing. He has that amazing voice. Steven, what's up, Steven? Says, Blake 7 is great. I'm enjoying it thus far. I have watched the first 2 episodes. Next Saturday's video will be a premiere with a live chat of me reacting to episode 1. I have filmed the reaction to episode 2, but I haven't edited it yet. I hate editing reactions, but I'll get to it. TARDIS Spider says hello and agree. Jake says, for all the bad stuff people say about JNT, he did give us a lot of great stuff, and he saved lots of film elements and studio location footage, which will come in handy now. And I appreciate him doing that. I know JNT is kind of a mixed bag depending on who you're listening to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get that open. But I am grateful for the things he did for the show, because it's very obvious he did enjoy the show a lot. Fingers crossed that they exist and were used. I have a feeling if they used the film elements for there we go. That if they did have the film elements, it would have been in the marketing drop when they first announced it. Like I can't talk. Let me trick some. I love these things. I think it would have been in the original announcement, like the film elements for 5 Doctors are. Let's see, where were we? Hudson says, see, I couldn't care less about a lot of season 20 for me. I think 21 is my favorite Davison, which is controversial. Yes, it is. Season 21 has Warriors of the Deep and the Twin Dilemma. This is the look of disappointment, sir. This is the look of disappointment. On the other hand, it has the Caves of Androzani and Resurrection of the Daleks, which are both great. And Frontios, which I also really enjoy. But Warriors of the Deep and Twin Dilemma. I do think 21 is his weakest season overall, even though it has some great stuff in it. Magnosaurus, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you. Blake 7 is amazing. I'm enjoying it thus far. I finally got to see episode 2 where I got my Paul Darrow. Finally. Let's see. I wish they would release an episodic version of the 5 Doctors, which we know exist. Matter of fact, one of the things that will be on the box set is like the opening and closing credits for the episodic version of 5 Doctors, even though they're not getting us the actual episodic cut of it. I noticed that on the disc layout when I was looking through it. Ham says, yeah, it's great going in blind, not having seen much of the season. Doctor Who is so subjective. The worst objective stories can be a personal favorite. That's true. I mean, I like the Crotons. It might not have the best reputation. I like the Armageddon Factor. It might not have the best reputation. So every Doctor Who story out there has somebody who likes it. There are people out there who like Kill the Moon. There are people out there who like Arachnids in the UK. I don't know why, but there are people who do. Just like every Doctor is somebody's favorite. One of my subscribers who's down there a lot, her favorite Doctor is the 13th Doctor. And she's someone who's been watching since the 70s or 80s. So every Doctor has somebody that's their favorite Doctor. Hudson says, I can't remember whether it was for the 60th or Series 14, but Murray Gold said that for one of them, every episode will have their own theme tune. That's pretty cool. I'm glad Murray's back. So if it's for the 60th, we could get a new title sequence every episode. Classic New Who extended media title. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting if they did unique titles for each special. That would be cool. JNT truly loved the show, and objectively speaking, no producer has been perfect. That's true. I think one of the reasons the Hinchcliffe era is so strong is not so much Hinchcliffe as he had Bob Holmes as a script editor. And Bob Holmes is just an amazing script editor. Ham says, that's nice. It's a trilogy. Is it hard to follow if you weren't to watch chronologically? Yes. Or is it more a loose story arc that should be watched in order? No, you need to watch the Black Guardian trilogy in order. The Black Guardian trilogy is the trilogy that introduces Turlo as the companion. And you can watch them on their own, but if you're watching them for the first time, you really need to watch them in order. I would highly recommend that. Terminus is the weakest of the 3. It's a little forgettable, but it's still fine. I like Terminus. I would recommend for your first time watching them in order: Modern Undead, Terminus, and Enlightenment, because you really need to watch Turlo's character arc, how he gets in the situation he's in. Shamrock says, "Woohoo!" Ham says, "I hear the Twin Dilemma is a bit of an animal." Twin Dilemma is not great. I like it a little more than its reputation because I do enjoy the basic plot of it a lot. It's the details that are really bad. And Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor, is very bad in it. It's not good. It's not good. Hudson says, "Your look of disappointment, but yeah, Warriors is dumb fun for me. Frontios is cool. The Awakening, I don't care for The Awakening. Part 1 is really good of The Awakening. I don't like Part 2. Resurrection is great. It needs updated effects badly. Caves is overrated, but fine. Caves is good. I will agree it's slightly overrated, but it's good. I do enjoy a lot of them. Foggy says, "My VHS copy of Five Doctors back in the day actually boasted on the cover it was the unabridged version. Clearly, some fans didn't like the episodic cut." Sham says, "Probably Holmes was truly unique and a class act, even when cynical." I love Bob Holmes. You guys know Bob Holmes is my favorite Doctor Who writer of all time. I think he's the best of all time. He's absolutely phenomenal. He's never done a story I thought was just bad. Even Power of Kroll, the actual story for it is fine. It was the execution of it I have issues with. Jake says, "I haven't seen season 16, so do I have to watch the Black Guardian story from that before?" No, you don't. No, you don't. You can watch season 20 before watching 16. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, and even Dylan agrees. You'll be fine. Yeah, you can watch season 20 without having seen 16. You'll be fine. Mama Sora says, "Blake 7 is a great show, but you can't get attached to a favorite character." Why are you telling me this? He says, "Chances are they're going to get killed because of the ending." Although, to be fair, he's not spoiling it. I know it has a dark ending. I have actually seen Blake 7, but only back when I was little in the 80s. My memories of it are very hazy. But I know it has a very not good, most of them get killed ending already. That I am aware of. Shamrock Particle says, "Twin Dilemma had a good basic plot, and Colin is struggling against so much, but he got to hide behind Nicola." John says, "Planet of Fire." Planet of Fire is okay. I like it. It's one of those rare occasions where I prefer the original version over the special edition. Special edition is fine, but I prefer the original version over it. Random Joke. What's up, Random Joke? You had a really good YouTube video idea you said the other day, and I can't remember what it is. I remember I really liked it. I can't remember what it is. I need to see if I can find that because it's a really good idea, and I can't remember what it was. He's also telling Jake you don't have to. If you know the basics of it, you'll understand. Although, of course, it's better to see season 16, or at least how Armageddon Factor ends. But now you don't have to watch season 16 to watch 20. Don't read people's responses for B7. Half of them aren't accurate anyway. Hudson says, "God, I love the Key to Time, though. It's such a fun seasonal arc." I do love Key to Time. One of my favorite reactors, Seska, says she's actually on season 16 right now. And she's having a ball with it. She likes the campy Who kind of stuff, so she's having a ball with it. I love season 16, especially Ribos Operation and Pirate Planet. Really hope Pirate Planet gets some updated effects for that. Shamrock said, "If it helps, I've seen the ending about 24 times. It never loses its impact." And Jake says, "Don't be nasty about the Sixth Doctor. It's the 40th anniversary of him being announced for the role today." Is it really? That's right. It was in August. I saw that on the listing for the season 20 box set. They actually have when Collins announced. I didn't realize that was actually today, but I know it was August of '83. That's pretty neat. And Random Joke says, "Hello, nothing much. How about you?" I'm good, buddy. I am good. It was an idea about a video about what could be in a Wilderness Years box set besides the movie. That's actually a good idea. Let's address that. And Shamrock says, 40 years of Colin now. Wow, yeah. Even in 1988, I kept wishing time travel was real so the hiatus could be undone. So Random Talk has a great thing. What else could be in the Wilderness Years box set? I don't think we will get, what is it? The Children in Need special. My mind is blanking on me right now. The really, really terrible one. That's the crossover with EastEnders. Is it EastEnders? Coronation Street? I get those two mixed up. I don't think that'll be on there because apparently, Dimensions in Time. Thank you. I don't know where my mind just went. I don't think that will be on there. Apparently, it cost a lot of money because it was done as a charity thing, and all of the actors involved did it as a charity thing. It cost a buttload of money to get it. Also, taking into account it's awful. I don't think it'll be on there. I'd rather them spend the money on something else. I would love to see the Curse of Fatal Death on there if they could get it. I do believe that might have been comedy relief too, but I love the Curse of Fatal Death. I love Rowan Atkinson a lot. My favorite British show. If there's a British show I love more than Doctor Who, it would be Blackadder. I actually have Blackadder right down there on the bottom toward the side. I have the Blackadder DVD collection. I love Blackadder, especially that episode with Tom Baker in it. You have a woman's bottom. Yeah, I would definitely love to have Curse of Fatal Death. I'd love to get the Eighth Doctor version of Shada, because I do like the Eighth Doctor version of Shada. I'd enjoy having that. Maybe Death Comes to Time. I've never listened to that, but I know it's a thing. So I'd love to get that. And those audios that Pertwee did, like I think one of them's called Paradise something, and there's one I think called The Ghost of In Space. I'd love to get those as well. Dimensions is a 6-parter condensed into the runtime, accorded half the length of a classic episode. No wonder it's a mess, but it's a lovable mess. Jake says, come on, if that's the final collection set, then go all out and give us the extended cut of Dimensions of Time. Dear Diary, now that I profess my not dislike of Dimensions in Time, a full history of the NA book range would be cool. Now, I'm sure we'll get a lot of extras talking about it, like the book range, maybe Target stuff. We'll probably get a lot of documentaries about this era. Still yet to see Blackadder. Do like a bit of Rowan Atkinson. It's my favorite Rowan Atkinson thing, even more than Mr. Bean. I love Blackadder, especially Blackadder 2, 3, and 4, because each series of Blackadder is Blackadder at a different point in history. He's playing a different person on his family tree. And the first one is the weakest, even though it's got Brian Blessed in it, which is awesome. And that's great. But series 2, 3, and 4 are better. Jake says, I'm on series 3 of Blackadder. Very funny so far. And has Hugh Laurie in it. Series 2 was the best. I love the Queen. I can never decide if my favorite is series 2 or 3. I love both. Although 1 and 4 are also good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of more stuff to go on the Wilderness Years set. It's really hard. I'm sure they will find stuff, though. I'm sure they know a lot of stuff. I really wish Dom was here. Dom was like, I know how much Dom loves the 90s. He would be there. They can do this, boom, 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 boom. So yeah, I think that about covers everything. We know Underwater Menace will be dropping in November, even if we haven't gotten the official date. We know season 20 will be dropping on September the 18th, and then I will have to wait for it to cross the pond. So I'll be watching YouTube videos of you guys getting it first. Series 1 through 4 remaster is November 13th. If you're interested in that, I am very curious to see what the art is going to look like for that and how they're going to do the packaging with it being 18 discs. I still expect just a really big plastic tub. I'm also looking forward to seeing the art for the Underwater Menace release. November is expensive. I am looking forward to finding out the Underwater Menace artwork, especially for the Steelbook, just to see if they'll actually do something different this time. Would you like a crossover of Red Dwarf and Doctor Who? I haven't seen enough of Red Dwarf, to be honest. I have a Red Dwarf box set that was sent to me, but I haven't started on it yet. I want to wait until I'm a ways into Blake 7 before I do that. Random Jeff says, I think the hard thing about the Wilderness Years is basically that most of the things are in a weird space where some of them can't be released officially by the BBC. I agree, because I would love to see, that's a good point you bring up, like Downtime. A lot of the not Doctor Who stories that were made that are in the Doctor Who universe, but not officially. Like I actually watched Downtime for the first time a couple months ago and did a review on it. And I did a review on one of the others too. I forget which one it was. And those are a huge part of the 90s. And I would love if the BBC could somehow get clearance to do some of the real-time stuff, some of the BBV stuff. That would actually be a huge win for them in a Wilderness box set. This was a fun party. We'll be back. Hope all of you will return. You take it easy, TARDIS. I'm trying to wrap it up myself. I just realized how long I've been talking. I got to get food. My wallet just yelped at the thought of November. I think the fourth Doctor with Holly from Red Dwarf can be funny. Big Finish looking at you. I don't know who Holly is. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to the 60th specials and Series 14 to see what Shooty does with the role. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We've been going for about an hour and a half. Wow. I do appreciate everybody who stopped in. It has been a lot of fun. Says great chat. Thank you with Columbo. Doctor Who B5. It will be a fun autumn. Yes, Columbo dropping in November. Babylon 5 dropping in December. I still need to go pick up the road home. I might need to get out and go do that today. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. You guys know that helps me out. You know, my goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers in 2023, and we're almost there. We're at like 976. We're getting really close. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. I know Unknown289 just rejoined recently. As a matter of fact, I think this will be the first time I've hit double digits on patrons. That's really nice. Don't forget to check that out. That really does help with bills and all that stuff. I don't just say that, it really does. So check that out if you have a second. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything anyone wants to send me to look at and review, like Greatest Show of the Galaxy. And a link to my Amazon wish list is there, which has that on it, and Silver Nemesis. And let's see, there is a fun animation of Lost in the Dark Dimension on YouTube. I've seen that, I believe. That could be on the Wilderness Year set. I've seen a YouTube video of that, which was kind of, Blackadder is good, but Blackadder the Third was a snooze fest. Really? I actually like Blackadder the Third a lot. I enjoyed that one. Downtime is on YouTube. I have seen Downtime. Someone sent me a link to that. I got to watch Downtime. Serving Hours a Lot says good stuff. Bye, everyone. Now, I really appreciate everything, everybody. We will try to do one. Remember, next week's video will be reacting to episode 1 of Blake's 7. Ham, it's good to see you stop by, buddy. I certainly appreciate it. It's always good to catch up. Horror of Fang Rock forever. I certainly appreciate everyone stopping by. Most importantly, as always, thank you for watching.